Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Theresa tells Constantine she's playing the long game with Alex when they speak on the phone. He echoes her, designating Alex Victor as his heir. They sure as hell didn't want Xander to be the one. When Sarah carries Victoria into the Kyriakis living room, he hangs up. Sarah inquires as he drools over the infant, wondering why he was mentioning Xander. Xander gives Sloane the command to punch Sarah hard as he's in his apartment talking on the phone. A vengeful Maggie knocks on his door, and he hangs up. "You have no right to try to take away my granddaughter." Xander retorts, claiming that Sarah misrepresented Rex's paternity for his daughter. As it happens, Maggie did as well. Maggie, looking uncomfortable, tells of appealing with Sarah to be honest with him, but having to honor her wishes. Xander says he's sorry for yelling at her. "How is she doing following Victor?" he queries. She sobs, acknowledging that although it's difficult, Constantine has made things a little easier. Marlena, Steve, and Marlena pack treat bags in the pub. Marlena has a headband adorned with a Medusa snake. Kayla has an eye mask commemorating the Day of the Dead. And Steve has a mask covering his lower face that gives off an eerie vibe. Kate brings in Charlotte, dressed as a witch, and Thomas, dressed like a ballplayer. Kate picked them up from school, and Stephanie and Chad are working from home. At home, Chad types on his laptop while wearing a vampire costume. In another room, he yells at Stephanie about Titan's damage control because they've disturbed a turtle's habitat. Chad answers the door when the doorbell rings, but nobody is there. Then he pauses to watch Stephanie come out of their chamber dressed as an evil queen. The previous Halloween they spent together, Abby wore the same costume. Following a tense conversation, Stephanie makes a move to avoid upsetting him or the children. Theresa sees Alex's white business shirt stained red as he races to meet her in the park. He clarifies that he was thrown on by a turtle activist who had combined red color with corn syrup. Alex asks her to accompany him when she advises he head home for a shower and a fresh shirt. Theresa advises that they stop having sexual intercourse and focus on getting to know one another better. Perhaps he could get her lunch. Now that he has inherited $1 bazillion, Alex knows he can spare it. He will depart, change, and return. As he walks away, she fans herself. Yes, the long game. Constantine tells Sarah, at the Kyriakis home, that he was speaking with a buddy in Greece who is managing the restaurant while he is away. Constantine was informing him about Xander's custody pursuit since he was aware of Xander's reputation as a bad boy. Constantine queries the attorney's opinions. Sarah reveals that Justin is concerned that her deceit may lead a judge to rule that she is unsuitable. She knows exactly how to make herself appear like the ideal mom to her daughter, so she must do everything in her power to project that image. When Chad and Stephanie arrive at the pub, Kayla pulls Steve aside to tell him to stop talking about getting married. She notes that Chad said he didn't envision himself getting hitched anytime soon. Stephanie walks up dressed for the street, while Chad appears decked out as Dracula. As Stephanie admits that her costume didn't exactly fit, Steve displays worry. Steve stops to talk with Chad as Kayla leaves for work. Maggie is raving about how amazing Constantine has been at Xander's. Although he notes that Constantine isn't really fond of him, Xander is appreciative of that. She can rely on him too, he tells her. They are related. Maggie claims that because of that adorable baby, they always will be. Both of Victoria's parents ought to love and support her. She hopes he can resolve his differences with Sarah. Sarah leaves the mansion as Constantine offers to take the child to the nanny. When Constantine and Victoria are by themselves, he says that her namesake is a terrible sonofebich who wants to steal all of Victoria's money. Maggie later sees Constantine again, and he gives her a photograph of Victor. Maggie says it's beautiful, a tearful one. Sarah goes to Kayla's office and makes a job request. As she tells that Xander is suing for full custody, she sobs. She would have a stronger case if the court could see that she is working for pay. Is she really ready to return with a newborn? Kayla worries. Sarah had hoped for a part-time start. Kayla finds that to be ideal. In the square, Xander spots Theresa and Alex acting flirtatiously. Theresa is a grade A manipulator, he tells Alex. She is only with someone like him because of his wealth. Theresa claims that before learning that Alex was Victor's son, she asked him out. Xander deadpans. What an unbelievable lucky coincidence. A focus on the incredible. He tells Alex to watch his back, assuming she knew something about the will. He ought to be aware, as he was imprisoned following her unfounded allegations of rape. Theresa clenches her teeth and says she's changed. Nevertheless, if it were his own riches, Xander would protect it at all costs. At the pub, Steve draws Chad away to talk about his plans. Steve thinks Chad might need to start over when it comes to marriage, but Chad feels he and Stephanie are on the same page. Steve tells Chad, who is perplexed, that Stephanie is devoted to him and his family. He should be aware that his daughter is hoping to get married. He is aware of Chad's ongoing grief over Abigail. He ought to break up with Stephanie if he isn't ready to give her everything. Not only for Stephanie, but also for the children. They are interrupted by Stephanie, so Steve and Marlena head out. Steve fears he may have caused a rift between Stephanie and Chad, so he visits Kayla at the hospital. When Stephanie tells Chad that she doesn't want to be married, was she being honest? They are back at the pub. While in the square, Alex approaches Xander. When all they want is to have a quiet meal, he is being impolite. Xander cautions that this lunch may be his final quiet meal if Alex continues to hang around with Theresa. Xander turns to go and runs into Sarah. He wants to discuss custody over coffee. Sarah will not do that in the absence of their attorneys. See him in court, she will. Alex tells Theresa at their table that he isn't thinking about what Xander said. Xander is merely envious that he ended up being Victor's heir rather than him. She complies grudgingly and uncomfortably uses a napkin to fan herself. Thank heavens, he's not Victor's son. Maggie is grateful to Constantine for hanging the portrait at the mansion. Tearful-eyed, she walks off to touch up her cosmetics. Constantine wonders aloud at Victor's portrait by himself. How come he can have all of Maggie's money and just take a portion of Victor's son's? Victor will get to watch it all, which is the finest part. Is the second time lucky? Days of Our Lives is that. After being torn apart by the devil, Johnny and Channel are trying to find each other again. This time, Holly is present instead of Satan. Despite lacking superhuman abilities, she possesses Nichols' cunning background and is adamant on having Johnny all to herself. Even if it would be unsettling to see Johnny make a move on the teenager, it doesn't guarantee she won't break up with him in Channel. After all, you never know what will transpire when things are tight. This holds true both in the real world and on Days of Our Lives. Additionally, it holds true even more when you're trying to beat the clock, like Carson Boatman and Raven Bowens found out. Thanks for watching if you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any updates.